South Park is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I love watching the gang go on crazy adventures and do crazy stuff. While the show is amazing and is my favorite TV show, I do have some opinions that might not be so popular amongst the fan base. So today we are going to talk about my 10 unpopular opinions about South Park. But before we get started on this video, hi, my name is Kenya Deanna and I make videos on topics that I find interesting. Before we get started on this video, I have to say, please do not come for me. These opinions are my opinions alone. I feel like I have to say that because people are very passionate about things and have their own opinions, and if your opinion doesn't match their opinion, they get really mad and attack you. So please don't come for me. Also, this list is not put into any order and it's just done randomly. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. So my first opinion is Randy is an overhyped character. I dislike Randy for a couple of reasons. One is because he's an idiot, and two, his antics are way too much. They're too much sometimes to the point where he gets other people involved in his stupid activity. One notable episode where Randy is in Bloody Mary. When Randy gets pulled over by the police for drunk driving, he is forced to go to AA meetings, which has convinced him that he is disease-ridden. Randy being Randy just takes this and runs with this dramatically. With his defeatist attitude, he attributes his alcoholism to a physical illness, making him spiral into a destructive behavior. He shaves his head and runs around in a wheelchair. A statue of Mary starts bleeding, which signifies that it might be able to provide some miracles. Desperate for a cure, a drunken Randy gives an ultimatum to Stan. Either an 8-year-old Stan drives or he drives while being drunk. Stan ends up driving Randy to the statue of Mary. When they pull up, Randy sees there is a line of actually physically ill people. So what does he do? He gets Stan to help him skip the line, bargaining through it until he can get to the very front. Subjecting Stan to his antics is quite crazy and quite selfish if you ask me. Even towards the episode, Stan tells Randy that his karate teacher is more of a teacher and more of a figure to him than Randy is. His own father. Just such an immature and idiotic character. If he were a real person, I would have absolutely nothing to do with him. And yeah, some of his antics are kind of funny, I'm not gonna even lie. Yes, some of them sometimes are kind of funny, but most of the time they just end up embarrassing himself and his family. This may seem harsh, but I can understand why Sharon has issues with him and even end up getting a divorce with him. She did end up getting back with him, and I have no idea why, because I could not deal with somebody like Randy. He is extremely childish. It's just so crazy to me that she can deal with somebody like Randy for so long. I have so much to say about Randy, and there is so much to say about him, but I think that might be a video topic for another time. My second opinion, Integrity Farms was fine. A lot of people dislike Integrity Farms, and I feel like they dislike Integrity Farms because they took two side characters and just pretty much made a whole entire season about them. That being Randy and Tally. Except for one episode that includes turret burglars and side stories in a couple of episodes like Let Them Eat Goo and Shots. As much as I cannot stand Randy as a character, he was a fan favorite amongst the show, so I can kind of understand why they had him in his own season. But the issue is I feel like they would have had a better reception if season didn't go on for so long. If they shortened the season, kind of like how they're doing us with these newer seasons. I know that might be a little bit of shade, but still, probably would have got a better reception that way. Or they could have done a whole special about it if they wanted to get away from the main characters for a little bit and wanted to do the whole weed thing, I guess. Another reason why I feel like what made it fine for them to do the season is because for a show that goes on for so long, like South Park, I can understand them needing a break and stuff like that and wanting to do something different. And I understand that when you do something different, that doesn't mean that people are going to like it or that it's going to have a good reception, but I can give them props to where it's done. So therefore, I say Integrity Farms was fine. Now on to my next opinion. Opinion 3. Jimmy Bowler should have more episodes. I love Jimmy. He is such an underrated character, and I just wish he was in more episodes, especially within the newer seasons. The episodes that he has of his own are always so good and definitely worth a watch. He has a positive attitude about life, and he does not let his disability get the best of him, nor prevent him from achieving his dreams and aspirations. Rather, he used this disability to his advantage, which is so notable and inspiring. One of Jimmy's aspirations is to become a comedian. He goes for a Jay Leno kind of comedic style. Although he is criticized for his jokes, no matter how big or small the crowd is, he's always like, wow.
Wow, what a great audience.
After finishing his jokes. To me, some of the most memorable episodes about South Park is Jimmy Ballmer's own episodes. Up the Down Steroids, Erection Day, Crazy Cripples, and Cripple Fight. And some of the most hilarious moments about him is some of his unintentional stuttering. And although he does have his flaws in the episode Up the Down Steroids by abusing steroids, it's all a good learning and character development for Jimmy. He is just such an excellent character, and he is my top 3 most favorite characters of all time of South Park. He definitely deserves more shine and screen time. Now, moving to opinion number 4, some episodes are too much when it comes to the gross out humor or even the gruesome moments. I'm not trying to be a stickler or anything. However, some of the South Park episodes are just way too gruesome and way too gross, which makes it way too much. I understand this is South Park and they can do whatever they want, but dog, like, some of the episodes are just way too gruesome and just way too gross. One episode I can think of the top of my head is when Paris Hilton was shoved up Mr. Slave's butthole, should I say. Literally. Another episode I can think of the top of my head is the Britney Spears episode when she got her head blown off. Yeah, very, gruesome. I'm not usually a squeamish kind of person, and I can deal with, blood and stuff like that, but these kind of episodes just make me squirm a little bit. Yeah, moving on from this section, opinion number 5. Philip Pip Pirrup is an overhated character. Pip is an English 4th grade student who was in the very beginning of the show. I understand that he was a character created who was meant to be hated, but the characteristics of him just is not hateable. He is actually very sweet and very nice. I hate the hate that he gets. In the show, he gets hated on because he is overly polite, nice, British, and because of his foreign mannerisms that they have in Britain, which in turn makes the audience hate him. One of the things I really like about Pip is that he is very optimistic about life, no matter what situation he's in and no matter how hard life gets. Pip was a precursor to Butters replacing Pip until he later gets killed off in season 14, episode 201. And Butters definitely has the better character developing episode, but that does not mean to say that Pip's episode was bad, because I don't think it was that bad. Now, opinion number 6. The animation style is too much now. Do not get me wrong, I like the HD episodes. They are very clear and definitely is updated. But I just think there's just way too much detail now. The animation style in the first 4 seasons did need an update, which they did starting with season 5. Season 5 and upward, animation is so good. It's really awesome. I just think in the more recent seasons, it is way too done with the HD, and the details are just makes it too much. Some details like being able to see patterns on clothes, the increase of shadows, the increase of different angles, and the shallow depth of field, which is the blur of the background or front with the object in focus. So to wrap this opinion up, I do like the HD animation style, but in the seasons it has become way too much and way too detailed, that it just takes away from the aesthetic of the construction paper animation style. Now, moving on to opinion number 7. I hate the episode You're Getting Old. Every single time I watch South Park and this episode comes on, I always skip it. It's the only episode to me that is skippable and unwatchable. The only reason why I hate this episode so much is the fart track that plays every 15 freaking seconds in the episode.
What the hell?
Think it's awesome!
Yeah!
What?
Gross! Turn it off, dude!
I do understand that this episode was made for a reason, kind of like a purpose, because there were rumors going around that Matt and Trey were getting so sick and tired of South Park. They were not excited, they had no enthusiasm, and they were exhausted of making South Park. Because they're not 20-something-year-olds making the show anymore. They're adult grown men who has wives and children. And you can see these feelings that they have within the episode because the episode goes through themes of depression, cynicism, and fears of getting old. So yeah, this was a turning point for South Park and it meant something. But it's the worst episode due to the overly done fart noise track that they had going on. Now this may sound negative and petty and exaggerated, but this is just how it makes me feel. I do not like You're Getting Old. Opinion 8. Chef should have stayed within the show. Isaac Hayes, who was the voice of Chef, departed from the show, which I believe made Matt and Trey very, very, very angry. This led to the decision to kill off Chef. This is pretty evident in the episode The Return of Chef, with the gruesome way that they had killed him off. And the way they portrayed him in the previous episodes, making him sound like he was like... It's such a shame because I really, really liked Chef. After all, he was such a fun and catchphrasey character who taught the kids some valuable lessons. I just wish they could have got someone else to play the voice of Chef, although I know it would not have been the same. It still would have been something. It still would have been Chef being on the show because, like I said, he's just such a fun character. And 2, it would have been very, very interesting to see his character in the newer seasons. Opinion 9. I do not care about Stan as a main character. I feel like Stan does not deserve his own episodes. He's such a plain vanilla dull character to me, and the only things that gives him character is his relationship with Kyle and Wendy. And maybe a couple other factors, like the dynamic between him and Randy as his father. Stan is just way too preachy and way too serious of a character. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a vanilla character and Stan being too serious of a character because it balances well with the other crazy characters who aren't that serious. However, I just still don't understand why people really like Stan and is even damn near like a fan favorite. How can Stan be a fan favorite? This leads me to my last and final opinion. My 10th unpopular opinion. I hated what they've done to Butters in the episode OGs. In this episode, Butters has a subplot of him pressing pickle, meaning that he presses his pickle against the window. Butters was upset at Cartman and the other girls from his school, then got into trouble for his bad behavior, which had him have a noticeable personality change. I will admit that Butters pressing pickle is it's funny. But I hated the fact that they made Butters into a butthole, which is not his usual character trait. He is usually a sweet, nice, innocent, buttery character, but in this episode, he was just completely out of his character. They even seem to admit it themselves within the episode because Butters said to Cartman that Cartman has changed. Meanwhile, Butters has changed as well. And I get that it's very interesting to see how Butters changes in that direction as a character, but I don't like it. I don't like the bad butters. I like the sweet innocent butters that I fell in love with. But thankfully this mean bad butters was not his character from then on. Luckily, they've changed him back to his sweet innocent self. So there we have it, my 10 unpopular South Park opinions. Why don't y'all tell me some of y'all unpopular South Park opinions down in the comments below. I will be reading them. And thank you so much for watching this video from beginning to end. It really means so much to me. Let me know if y'all agree with any of my unpopular opinions. I would love to know. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye. My cat Bella might be joining in this video with us.
And that's all, folks.